The realities of my disability is I'm so new to it that I really have very little experience being blind. And, I got the rest of my life to live, and I'm sure I'm going to encounter more barriers as I go through life, but I can't predict what those barriers would be, to be honest. 4.5 years ago, I was catastrophically injured in an industrial accident, and I went blind overnight at the age of 50 years old. At the time of injury, I really didn't know how I was going to deal with blindness, and learned quite quickly that the resources in Canada as a whole are very limited, and the resources on Vancouver Island are even more limiting, and if you do live in a rural area, it's even less. I quickly realized some of the barriers that I was facing in Campbell River as a person with a blind disability. As I got familiar with different areas throughout my community, some of the street crossings were a little bit different at each one. Some had the audio sound to give you the signal to cross, which I found was not great. If it was a wet day, the sound would get drowned out from all the traffic. Or if there was a loud truck or a loud vehicle, I couldn't hear the audio sound. And what I did find was occasionally there were buttons that vibrated when it was safe to cross, and I thought this was very useful. But then I realized that there was some inconsistencies with that. Not every street crossing that was lit had a vibrating button, and some that did have the vibrating button, the buttons were in different locations, so there was no consistency. I recently, after a long winter, approached St. Anne's, and one of the many things that I do to identify the intersection is I'm listening to traffic patterns, and I can hear the traffic going east-west and north-south. But that particular time of day when I was walking, there was no traffic, and I didn't realize I had approached that intersection. I ended up crossing St. Anne's without even stopping. And when I realized I had crossed St. Anne's is when a truck went roaring behind me, and I realized that I had gone through the intersection without stopping and not even knowing that I had crossed. I would say for anyone that is dealing with someone with low vision or blind, do not assume anything. And a polite gesture of, do you need any assistance or can I help you? But it goes so much further and a lot more dignifying than just assuming that we have no skills and we can't get around. People will reach out and grab my elbow and pull me. And this is not an acceptable way. One of the best ways to assist a blind person is to lead them. So often, most blind people have their cane in their right hand as they sweep to feel in front of them. And I will ask to take someone's right elbow. And when I hold on to their elbow, I just follow. If they turn left, it's a natural instinct to go left or go right, and it makes traveling with me very easy. There was an opportunity to join a committee that the regional district had put together, and I felt that it was important that I participate in this committee to voice some of the barriers that I have encountered and really didn't know what barriers I would be facing as I started to move about my community and explore as a person with no vision.